Friends, today we're going to dive into the explanation of Mayfair Witches Season 2. I'm sure many of you have already seen its first season. If not, don't worry. I've provided a link in the description. Make sure to watch Season 1 first. This is a horror and mystery web series, one of the most in-demand and popular shows. The IMDb rating for this series is excellent. If you enjoy such web series, subscribe to this channel and don't forget to press the bell icon, because this channel is going to bring you a lot of valuable content. Now let's get straight to the explanation of episode 1 of season 2. Without further ado, let's begin. The episode starts with Rowan, a young woman who recently had a baby. The opening scene shows Rowan having a disturbing nightmare. In her dream, it feels as though Lasher has entered her home and he's there for her baby. Terrified, Rowan wakes up abruptly, her heart pounding. She rushes to check on her child. When she looks into the crib, she finds her son happily playing inside. Seeing him safe and sound brings her some relief. Fast forward 3 days, we see Rowan nursing her baby. Her child has grown astonishingly fast in these few days, as if he's aging at an unnatural pace. Rowan has named him Lasher, and this peculiar boy carries a certain anger within him. It's also revealed that Rowan herself has gained magical powers after Lasher's birth. Here's an important piece of backstory. Lasher was a spirit who used to reside in the Mayfair household. He had never taken a human form before, but Rowan, being the 13th witch in her family line, became the conduit for his birth. Now, this child, Lasher, speaks to his mother in strange and unsettling ways. He shows no respect for her, his behavior completely out of Rowan's control. It's as if he's asserting dominance, leaving Rowan overwhelmed and helpless in her own home. Just then, Rowan sees the spirit of a woman named Millie appear before her. Millie starts speaking and warns her, saying, "What you're thinking isn't true. This boy isn't what he seems to be. That's why I want you to kill him. There's no sin in destroying a demon." However, Rowan is horrified at the thought. After all, this is her own child, and she can't imagine doing such a thing to him. Rowan approaches her son Lasher, who suddenly begins to speak. "I can't summon fire from my hands anymore. I think I've given you all my powers and I want them back," he says. Rowan, determined, replies, "I can't give those powers back to you because you're still too young." Rowan then closes her eyes and tries to read Lasher's mind to understand what's going on inside him. She starts documenting everything she discovers in a book. While she realizes that Lasher exhibits characteristics similar to normal humans, she still cannot confirm if he is entirely human. Meanwhile, Lasher locks himself inside a room. Rowan, using her magical powers, unlocks the door. When she enters, she reassures him, "Tomorrow morning, I'll buy you new clothes." Just then, another Mayfair woman arrives, expressing her desire to meet Lasher. However, Rowan refuses, saying, "He's asleep right now. You can meet him tomorrow morning." While conversing with this woman, Rowan admits, "Lasher has grown so much in just one day. He's always hungry, and I have no idea how to control him. He doesn't listen to me at all." The woman advises Rowan, "When Lasher is a little older, you can ask him why he came into this world. Until then, you should read the other Mayfair books. They'll give you the knowledge you need." Rowan starts questioning, "I read in the book that the day Lasher arrives here, the powers of all the Mayfair witches will increase. Has anyone's powers changed yet?" The woman responds, "Lasher has just entered this world. These things don't happen so quickly. It will take some time. If you want more information, you can ask Cortland." However, Rowan lies and says, "I don't know where Cortland is," even though she does. The truth is, Rowan herself had turned Cortland into a statue. At this point in the story, another character enters, a girl named Moira. She arrives at the house in a car. Moira is also a witch, known as Mona in the books, but her name has been changed to Moira in the series. Moira is the sister of Tessa, who was killed in the previous season. Soon after, Daphne comes to meet Moira. Daphne is overjoyed to see her, and we learn that Moira possesses unique powers. She can read anyone's mind. However, Moira's mother arrives at the scene and quickly turns on some music. She knows that the music will block Moira's ability to read minds, effectively neutralizing her powers for the moment. This interaction adds layers of intrigue to the story, as Moira's arrival and abilities are sure to stir up new challenges in the already complex web of mysteries surrounding Lasher and the Mayfair Witches. Moira is feeling distressed because of her sister Tessa's death. Seeking comfort, she hugs her mother. Her mother, however, says, "This is not a time to grieve. Lasher is now among us. Rowan has given birth to him. And remember, Rowan called upon Lasher to save Tessa, but Lasher didn't save her." Moira, still upset, begins to speak ill of Lasher. Her mother quickly rebukes her, saying, "Do not speak like that about Lasher. Tomorrow morning, go visit your sister's grave." Meanwhile, Rowan is seen inside her house. Using her magic, she lights a fire and takes out an old diary. This diary is a prized possession, written by Catherine, one of the most important witches in the Mayfair lineage. In this book, Catherine wrote about an event from 1946, where Lasher had asked her to bind herself to him. However, Catherine refused, understanding that such a bond could be extremely dangerous. Outside the house, Sipin arrives. He tries to open the door, attempting to enter. The sound of the door alerts Rowan, who realizes someone is at the house. She rushes to check, but by the time she reaches, Sipin has already driven away. However, Rowan catches a glimpse of him as he leaves. Sipin drives to a motel and retrieves a Bible. Holding it in his hands, he begins to speak. I've seen that child. He is no ordinary human. Back in Scotland, an entire village burned to the ground, yet that child survived. Sipin continues talking to the Bible, recounting many of his memories, and reveals, if I ever touch this Bible again, I will regain my memories. I fear someone might try to erase them, so I'm preserving them here. If that ever happens, this Bible will restore what I've lost. He also adds, Rowan has given birth to the child. Lasher is now in this world. Rowan has fortified her home, and she is ready to do anything to protect her child. With that, Sipin places the Bible inside a box, sealing it for safekeeping. Meanwhile, we see Moira, who visits the Mayfair cemetery. She finds Tessa's grave, places flowers on it, and reminisces about her late sister with a heavy heart. Now, a week has passed, and Lasher is growing rapidly. He approaches his mother, Rowan, and starts trying to break his own teeth in front of her. Alarmed, Rowan somehow manages to put him to sleep. However, deep down, she begins to suspect that Lasher might truly be a demon. Despite her growing fears, she cannot bring herself to harm her own child. We then shift to Arjuna, who receives the Bible that Sipin had packed earlier. It's revealed that Sipin intentionally sent the Bible to Arjuna, ensuring that it would be in safe hands. The idea is that if Sipin ever meets Arjuna again, Arjuna can return the Bible to him. Sipin, on the other hand, is seen entering a motel. However, as soon as he steps into his room, he is ambushed by unknown individuals and knocked unconscious. Back at Rowan's house, she continues reading the old book written by Catherine. While flipping through the pages, she notices that several pages have been torn out. The mystery behind these missing pages leaves her baffled and uneasy. Rowan then goes to check on Lasher and finds him sitting in a corner, holding a doll in his hands. She asks, "Where did you get that doll?" Lasher replies, "This doll has been touched by many Mayfair witches. I can feel their presence on it." Rowan grows suspicious and demands, "Why have you come into this world? What is your purpose?" Lasher remains silent, refusing to answer. Frustrated and angry, Rowan snatches the doll from his hands. This provokes Lasher, who pushes Rowan forcefully, causing her to fall back and hit the ground. Rowan, enraged by Lasher's defiance, picks up shards of glass and throws them at him. The shards pierce Lasher's face, wounding him, but within moments, Rowan uses her magic to remove the shards and heal his injuries. Lasher recovers instantly, but the tension between the two grows even stronger, as the rift between mother and son becomes increasingly apparent. The next day, Rowan heads to her hospital. She takes the glass shard with Lasher's blood on it and begins running tests. As she examines the blood samples, she calls a colleague named Sam and informs him, "I've sent you some blood samples. I just need you to check them and let me know the blood type." Sam agrees to help, and their conversation carries a sense of familiarity. They seem to be speaking after a long time. While at the hospital, Rowan notices a woman sitting and crying. Intrigued, she approaches to find out what's wrong. The woman reveals that her daughter has cancer, and they've recently received the devastating diagnosis. Moved by the mother's sorrow, Rowan decides to visit the little girl. The girl, who appears pale and fragile, tells Rowan, "I have cancer. The reports confirm it. I'll die soon." Rowan kneels beside her and reassures her, saying, "That's not going to happen. You'll always stay alive. You'll get better and go home soon." Determined to help, Rowan uses her magical powers on the girl, channeling her energy to heal her. After a moment, Rowan declares, "You're healed now." As Rowan leaves the room, the effects of her healing take a toll on her. Exhausted, she collapses into a chair and falls asleep. At this moment, Jojo, Cortland's daughter, arrives at the hospital and finds Rowan. Concerned, she asks, "What are you doing here? Are you feeling okay?" Rowan assures her, "I'm fine," and then invites Jojo to visit her home. "You and Dolly should come over to my place," she says, extending a warm invitation. This scene highlights Rowan's growing powers and her struggle to balance their use without harming herself, as well as her attempts to reconnect with her allies amidst the chaos surrounding Lasher and the Mayfair legacy. Inside the house, Lasher is growing rapidly, both in size and maturity. His development is far faster than normal, making him appear much older than he truly is. Meanwhile, Sipin is seen tied up in an unknown location. He has been captured by a man named Elbridge, who works for the same organization as Sipin. Elbridge confronts him, saying, "We know you've been working on a secret mission, but Talamasca wants you to capture Lasher at any cost because he's a threat to all of us." Sipin, however, refuses, firmly stating, "I will not do this. My mission is my priority." Elbridge smirks and replies, "That's exactly why you're the perfect candidate for this job. You're the one who can infiltrate the Mayfair house." Reluctantly, Sipin responds, "Fine, I'll think about it." Meanwhile, Moira visits Rowan's house. She speaks to one of the women there and demands, "I want to meet Lasher, and I will meet him because he's responsible for my sister's death." Just as this conversation unfolds, Jojo arrives at the house with Rowan. This is Rowan's first encounter with Moira. Moira introduces herself, saying, "I'm Tessa's sister." Rowan, immediately understanding, says apologetically, "I know, Your sister is gone and I'm to blame because I couldn't save her. Moira angrily retorts, you're not responsible. Lasher is. Unknown to them, Lasher is eavesdropping on their conversation from another room. Rowan tries to calm the situation and says to Moira, come back later. Lasher will be ready to meet you then. Furious, Moira storms out of the house. After Moira leaves, the woman in the house warns Rowan, Moira is a mind reader. That's why I turned on the music, to block her powers. You should always be cautious when she's around. If she's near, keep the music on. Otherwise, she could read your mind. This revelation further complicates the dynamics, as Rowan must now navigate the tense relationships within the Mayfair family, while protecting her secrets and keeping Lasher in check. As Moira leaves the house, we discover that Sippin is following her in his car, keeping a close eye on her movements. Meanwhile, Rowan takes food to her son Lasher, who has now grown considerably older and more mature. During their interaction, Lasher, curious about what he overheard earlier, asks, who is this Tessa you mentioned? I just heard her name. Rowan explains, she was my cousin, but she's no longer with us. Lasher responds, puzzled, I heard that girl say I hurt her, but I haven't harmed anyone. I can't hurt anyone. Rowan reassures him, it wasn't your fault. Tessa was wearing a necklace that caused her death. She further explains, that necklace isn't meant for just anyone to wear. Only someone like me can handle its power. Rowan, shifting the topic, asks Lasher, you've grown so much, but you still haven't told me why you've taken a human form. Why are you in this world? Lasher avoids the question, laughing it off and says, I'm here only for you. But things take an unsettling turn when Lasher attempts to kiss his mother. Shocked and angry, Rowan pushes him away, saying, don't ever do that again. Furious, she storms out of the room. Rowan descends into the basement of her house, where she has kept the statue of Cortland. As it turns out, Rowan had turned Cortland into stone. Standing before the statue, she begins questioning him, asking, why is Lasher here? You must know everything. Unbeknownst to her, Cortland's consciousness is trapped in another realm. Hearing Rowan's voice, he begins shouting, please get me out of here. Please set me free. His cries are desperate and haunting. Just then, a group of mysterious women appears. These women seize Cortland, capturing him in his current state, further adding to the mystery and raising questions about their intentions. As we see Lasher, he is now fully matured into a young adult. One evening, he sneaks out and finds himself at a bar. There, he notices a girl whose scent captivates him. Enchanted by her, he approaches her, and they share a dance. The night stretches on, and back at home, Rowan grows increasingly anxious. She has no idea where Lasher has gone. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Rowan quickly opens it and finds Lasher standing there, with the girl from the bar. Lasher, in a panic, pleads with his mother, please fix her, help her. Rowan, alarmed, examines the girl and asks, who is this girl? But Lasher doesn't respond, tears streaming down his face. As a doctor, Rowan quickly realizes that the girl is already dead and has suffered significant blood loss. Lasher, distraught, begs her, I need her, no matter what. Please, bring her back to life. Rowan, maintaining her composure, replies, go to the basement and get the surgical scissors. I'll see what I can do in the meantime. Trusting her, Lasher heads to the basement. As soon as he enters, Rowan quickly locks the door behind him, trapping him inside. Ignoring his desperate cries, she returns to the girl's lifeless body. Rowan picks up the girl and carries her to a nearby riverbank, shrouded in thick mist. Without hesitation, she submerges the girl's body into the water, ensuring it disappears without a trace. The swirling water and smoke create an eerie atmosphere, symbolizing Rowan's attempt to bury the incident and prevent anyone from discovering the truth about the girl. This sequence intensifies the moral and emotional conflict Rowan faces as she struggles to protect both her son and her own sanity in the dark and chaotic world of the Mayfair legacy. As the episode continues, we see Lasher still trapped in the basement. Frustrated and determined, he smashes through the glass and manages to break a window, finally escaping. Once outside, he stumbles upon the girl's purse lying nearby. Curiously, he opens it and finds a small card inside. Upon examining the card, he notices a name written on it, Lucy Mayfair. It becomes evident that the girl belongs to the Mayfair family lineage. However, her fate remains uncertain. Rowan did submerge her body in the river, but could Lucy Mayfair return to life in the next episode? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, Lasher is now fully in his human form, radiating immense power. His strength is unmatched, and he seems to be embracing his new identity and purpose. With this, the episode concludes, leaving us on the edge of our seats, wondering about Lucy's mysterious past and Lasher's growing abilities. Joke to lighten the mood. You know, Lasher breaking out of the basement reminded me of my teenage years. My mom grounded me once, and I tried to escape through the window too. The difference? I got stuck halfway, and the only power I had was yelling for help. Clearly, I wasn't a Mayfair. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll uncover more secrets and see where Lucy Mayfair's story leads. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and until then, take care, stay happy, and thank you for watching.